Good evening, I am Tammy Reed in with your VON Major News package for today, Thursday, 4th July 2019. In our lead stories, nationally, 7 bills on order paper for a sitting of the National Assembly and over 3,000 households in St. Kitts and Nevis benefit from PAP program last month. Regionally, Venezuela's rulers accused by UN of death squads and policy of fear. Internationally, Iran summons UK ambassador in tanker siege Rao. And in sports, West Indies beat Afghanistan by 23 runs in their final 2019 Cricket World Cup match. We'll have the details to these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back, and now the national news in detail. A number of bills are expected to go through their first and second reading when the National Assembly here in St. Kitts and Nevis meets on Tuesday, 9th July 2019. Prime Minister and Minister responsible for Finance, Sustainable Development, National Security, People's Empowerment, and Constituency Empowerment, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, will seek leave to introduce and have read a first time Prison Extramural Sentences Amendment Bill 2019, Money Services Bill 2019, Criminal Procedure Bill 2019, Cannabis Bill 2019, and Motion of No Confidence Bill 2019. The Prime Minister will also move the second reading of Prison Amendment Bill 2019, Criminal Procedure Bill 2019, Prison Extramural Sentences Amendment Bill 2019. Attorney General and Minister responsible for Justice and Legal Affairs and Communications, Senator Vincent Byron, will seek leave to have read a first and second time Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court St. Christopher and Nevis Amendment Bill 2019 and Magistrate Court of Procedure Amendment Bill 2019. For June, 3,372 beneficiaries received direct deposits to their banks and 556 received checks. That's according to Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, who was speaking in relation to the Poverty Alleviation Program and cited figures for last month. The Poverty Alleviation Program, PAP, of the Government of St. Kitts and Nevis, alias the Household Assistance Program, has had a positive socio-economic impact on households across St. Kitts and Nevis. The program provides a stipend of $500 EC monthly to households whose monthly income is less than $3,000. In addition to the 3,372 beneficiaries, Dr. Harris reported on Tuesday, July 2nd, that $13.6 million has been paid to qualifying individuals since the program was initiated in December 2018. Meantime, for persons here on Nevis, checks are also available for the June 2019 disbursement of the Poverty Alleviation Program and can be collected by the Department of Social Services from 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily. The next payment under the PAP program will be made on Wednesday, July 24, 2019. Our journalists here in St. Kitts and Nevis upholding their integrity and the integrity of their various establishments in their field of expertise. Minister with responsibility for public infrastructure in the Team Unity Administration, the Honorable Ian Patridge-Liebert, says journalists are expected to seek the truth and to present the facts to the public as it relates to developments in their reporting.
After much deliberation in relation to the continuing tenure of the chairmanship of SCASPO, the chairman conceded that it was in the best I am somewhat concerned, and I'm sure we all ought to be, that in the media we have seen the standards being reduced to allegations, that's gossip. And this is what I call tabloid journalism. It is a style of journalism. In some areas they call it the rag news or rag newspapers. And I see this tabloid journalism creeping into the media here in St. Kitts. And headline news is about an allegation. No one has sought to establish the facts. An allegation can't be facts. And I say the media seem to be party to promoting these false statements.
Minister Liebert was speaking at the Prime Minister's press conference held on Tuesday, 2nd July 2019. He was responding to a question posed with regards to statements he made to journalists on the island being corrupt. The minister also had this to say.
If the media or journalists are allowed to continue to facilitate such falsehood, such fake news, as we say, then you have to question those in the media who use their platform to facilitate this. And that, I said, to me, is an abuse of privilege, and such abuse of office, like any other, in my view, is journalistic corruption. And I apologize to the media, I apologize to the journalists, but I am a straight talking, factual minister. So I want to say to those who are offended, I apologize, but I want to also say in closing that good journalism is getting as close as humanly possible to the truth.
Honorable Ian Patches Liebert. Chairman of the Board of Directors at the St. Christopher ANC Ports Authority, Mr. Don Boncamper, has tendered his resignation. The announcement was made by Minister with responsibility for public infrastructure in the federal government, the Honorable Ian Patches Liebert, at the Prime Minister's press conference on Tuesday, 2nd July 2019.
After much deliberation in relation to the continuing tenure of the chairmanship of SCASPO, the chairman conceded that it was in the best public interest and the best interest of SCASPO, and by extension that of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, that he should tender his resignation at this point in time. I said, if that is his view, that is his wish, I will accept it.
Honorable Ian Patches Liebert. Boncamper's resignation comes several days after the government agency lost a court case against the former chief financial officer of the authority. He was first appointed to the position in 2015 and then reappointed again in 2018. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris has extended his hearty congratulations to the government and people of Canada on the wonderful occasion of the country's 152nd anniversary of independence, which was celebrated on Monday, July 1st. Prime Minister Harris stated in a letter that the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis stands with you and share the same affinity for the values that Canada is known and respected for on the international stage. He also took the opportunity to note his delight over the improved diplomatic relationship between the two countries, which is reflected, among other things, by St. Kitts and Nevis' recently opened High Commission in Ottawa, Canada. Moreover, the Prime Minister was quoted as saying, "On behalf of the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis, I wish Canada's diverse people, including our fellow nationals who live there, a very happy Canada Day." Canada became an independent nation on July 1st, 1867. The Traffic Department on St. Kitts is currently investigating circumstances surrounding an accident on the Island Main Road. The incident is reported to have occurred today, Thursday, 4th July, at about midday. Reports are that the brewery's truck was traveling from the direction of Robert L. Bratcher International Airport into the bypass, where it encountered difficulties. It is understood that as the truck was heading to the roundabout, the driver lost control of the truck, causing it to go straight through the roundabout. 2 men were thrown from the vehicle and are reported to have been injured. The men were transported to the Joseph and France General Hospital, where they are warded and receiving treatment. Finally, the residents on St. Kitts continue to benefit from infrastructure work done by the Team Unity administration to the island main road. Residents living in the rural on the island, particularly on the eastern side, will benefit from construction upgrades to the sidewalks which aim to enhance the safety of pedestrians. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, in providing an update on the Island Main Road Rehabilitation and Upgrade Project at his press conference on Tuesday, July 2nd, expressed that the upgrades to sidewalks are extremely important and especially useful for vulnerable persons. He noted that this is particularly important for the elderly persons who don't have the time and the agility to move rapidly from ongoing traffic moving to and fro. This is particularly important for the young children who are going to school and who sometimes are absent-minded in relation to the movements of the traffic. Phase 1 of the project included the resurfacing of the stretch of road between Connery and Keys, as well as camps and challengers, the construction of a proper drainage system on the eastern side of St. Kitts in the vicinity of Contec, the widening of the main road, as well as the building of drains, retention walls, and sidewalks at various points. Phase 2 commenced in Keys and will continue through Challengers via Saddlers and from the airport roundabout to the camps roundabout via Wellington Road through Keon Street. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Von Radio or our Von Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next.
Same time, progressive.
That's right. It's summertime here at the Bank of Nevis Limited. So come and get an unsecured loan of up to easy $20,000 and up to 3 years to repay. It's that simple. So take a trip, close out some minor expenses, spend some well-needed time on a family vacation, or just enjoy Culturama 45. Your vacation made easier with a relaxing vacation loan from the Bank of Nevis Limited. My bank, your bank, our bank. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram.
We love the festival. We love the festival.
Welcome back. Another regional news in detail. The UN has accused Venezuela of a strategy of instilling fear in its population to retain power, removing opponents with a shocking number of alleged extrajudicial killings. Victims are arrested and shot with crime scenes manipulated to suggest they resisted police, a report says. The UN urges Venezuela to end the grave violations of economic, social, civil, political, and cultural rights. The BBC's Imogen Folks reports.
The report paints a dark picture of Venezuela in which unmarked black vans arrive in poor neighbourhoods, masked officers get out, round up young men and shoot them. The bodies are planted with drugs and weapons, the deaths recorded as taking place during resistance to authority. The report describes a government policy of oppression in which political activists and community leaders are arrested and tortured, and their families denied access to food and medicine.
Nicolas Maduro's administration has not yet officially responded to the report. Venezuela has in the past dismissed human rights allegations as lies. In Dominica, the Dominica Electricity Services (DOMLEC) says its national power grid has been restored to its full capacity, although not all customers are back on the grid because of displacement, renovation, and constructions of homes. DOMLEC's public relations officer, Adina Bellot Valentine, made this statement to the media during a recent tour of Domlex diesel plant at Sugarloaf in 1 Mile, Portsmouth. She said Domlex Sugarloaf plant has returned to normal operations since Hurricane Maria. According to DominicanNewsOnline.com, she added that Domlec's overall peak at this time is 13.63 megawatts with an overall installed capacity of 26.7 megawatts, and Sugarloaf has an installed capacity of 7.1 megawatts. Valentine further stated that the hydro plants at Laudat and Trafalgar are operational with the exception of the Paddo Hydro Station. She said efforts are being made to restore that station in early 2020. Out of Dominica, the police have arrested and charged Leslie Martin of Portsmouth for allegedly making threatening comments on social media about Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. In a video posted on social media, Martin is heard saying, "It's not you I want to kill, it's Skerrit." He appeared before a Roseau magistrate today, Thursday, 4th July, where the charge of threatening Roosevelt Skerrit was read to him. He pleaded not guilty and was granted bail of $2,500 in his own recognizance and asked to stay away from Prime Minister Skerrit. Martin's lawyer, Ben Hanzin, also asked the court to ask the Prime Minister to stay away from his client and his home since they are campaigning, he said, going house to house. The matter has been adjourned to August 29, 2019 in St. Joseph. Finally, out of Barbados, the minimum wage in the country could be going up according to nationnews.com. Minister of Labor Colin Jordan said the increase was being considered by his ministry in consultation with the Minimum Wage Board, which was responsible for making recommendations. Recently, Mr. Jordan said in the House of Assembly that he had met with the board, including independent representatives, representatives from the employers, and from workers' organizations, and had indicated to them that the government was in the process of revising the minimum wage. Currently, it is at $6.25 per hour. The St. Peter MP appealed to businesses in line for VAT return payments to invest some of that money in employing young people as part of government's First Jobs program. Jordan said he was not claiming that all young people got involved in deviant behavior because of lack of opportunity, but he made a case for the employment, asking businesses to give young people a chance to work. That's it for our regional stories. Stay with us for news around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. Iran has summoned the British ambassador in Tehran to complain about what it says was the illegal seizure of an Iranian oil tanker. British Royal Marines helped the authorities in Gibraltar seize the ship because of evidence it was heading to Syria in breach of EU sanctions. Spain's acting foreign minister said that the seizure of the ship Grace 1 was at the U.S. request. An Iranian foreign ministry spokesman called the actions a form of piracy. The BBC's Jonathan Ball reports.
Britain's been keen to suggest this was an operation led by the Gibraltar government. It appears the intelligence came from the United States. Spain's acting foreign minister said they were studying the circumstances of the action, but said it followed, in his words, a demand from the United States to the United Kingdom. The Trump administration, which has pulled out of an international agreement on Tehran's nuclear program, has instead reinforced punishing sanctions, unlike its European allies who have not followed suit.
President Donald Trump's impromptu visit to the country as an amazing event. On Sunday, Mr. Trump became the first sitting U.S. president to set foot in North Korea, accompanied by leader Kim Jong-un. Mr. Trump had earlier tweeted asking Mr. Kim if he would like to meet with the U.S. president while he was in South Korea. On Monday, KCNA carried extensive coverage of the unprecedented meeting. North Koreans rarely receive news of the outside world, and the heavily controlled media has depicted the U.S. as its most hated enemy for decades. Images of the U.S. president walking into the North as a friend of Mr. Kim will be an extraordinary sight for ordinary North Koreans. Negotiations over North Korea's controversial nuclear program have stalled since the second summit between the two leaders ended without an agreement in February. San Francisco has become the first U.S. city to ban sales of e-cigarettes until their health effects are clearer. Officials on Tuesday voted to ban stores selling the vaporizers and made it illegal for online retailers to deliver to addresses in the city. The Californian city is home to Juul Labs, the most popular e-cigarette producer in the U.S. Juul said the move would drive smokers back to cigarettes and create a thriving black market. San Francisco's Mayor London Breed has 10 days to sign off the legislation, but has indicated she will. The law would begin to be enforced 7 months from that date, although there have been reports firms could mount a legal challenge. Finally, the amount of sugar in baby food should be restricted, and parents should give their young children more vegetables to stop them developing a sweet tooth, a report from child health experts says. It warns that even baby food marked no sugar added often contains sugars from honey or fruit juice. Parents should offer bitter flavors too, the Royal College of Pediatrics and Health Child recommends. This will guard against tooth decay, poor diet, and obesity. The recommendations is one of many included in a report on how to improve the health of children in the UK. Reducing child obesity is a key priority in all parts of the UK, with England and Scotland committing to halving rates by 2030. That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Get the hottest summer deal on your vehicle from TDC Automotive and pay no deposit. Finance your vehicle at the lowest interest rate ever with TDC Financial Services for as low as $775 per month. We're giving you 1 year free insurance with TDC Insurance Company on selected models. Free insurance? Now that's hot! Save even more with free servicing for up to 1 year. Free licensing, registration, accessories, and tinting. Save thousands and get lit with the hottest summer deal from TDC Automotive. We're #1 for a reason. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, and now the sports in detail. In cricket, West Indies produced a defiant display to beat bottom side Afghanistan by 23 runs in the World Cup at Headingley. Having lost 5 successive matches, the Windies were only 1 place above the winless Afghans, but Shai Hope dropped on 5, made an assured 77. Skipper Jason Holder blazed 4 huge sixes to take their total to 311 for 6. Afghanistan were all out half the final ball for 288, 18-year-old wicket-keeper Ikram Akil Hill scoring 86 in their high score, batting second in ODIs. Afghanistan finished their campaign without a victory, but they were in contention once again, having lost in the last over to Pakistan and by only 11 runs to India. Summarized scores: West Indies 311 for 6 in 50 overs, Afghanistan 288 in 50 overs. West Indies won by 23 runs. In football, former FIFA President Sepp Blatter has begun legal proceedings against football's world governing body for moral damage and to reclaim around 60 of his watches he says are still in its possession. Blatter's 17-year spell in charge of FIFA ended amid a corruption scandal in 2015, and he is serving a 6-year ban from football. He was found to have made a £1.3 million disloyal payment to former UEFA boss Michel Platini, both denying any wrongdoing. Blatter, who is now 83, alleges that false information was spread in relation to the money received by him after the 2014 World Cup. FIFA said Blatter's views should be seen against the backdrop of his own conduct in office over a period of decades. Blatter also said he is willing to speak to French anti-corruption investigators over the awarding of the 2022 World Cup hosting rights to Qatar. However, Mr. Blatter, who is initially interviewed by the French authorities in 2017, has told the BBC he is at their disposal. In tennis, top seed Novak Djokovic cruised into the Wimbledon third round after three-time Grand Slam champion Stan Wawrinka lost to American Relly Opelka. Serbia's Djokovic, 32, needed just 1 hour and 33 minutes to beat American Denis Kudla 6-3, 6-2, 6-2. Ex-world number 3 Wawrinka had the upper hand against 2015 boys junior champion Opelka after 3 sets. But 6 feet 11 inches Opelka fought back with ferocious serving to edge a 3-hour match 7-5, 3-6, 4-6, 6-4, 8-6. Djokovic is the defending champion at SW19 and once again considered the man to beat as he chases the 5th title at the All England Club. Finally, in local sports, the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank New Attitude A Division Basketball semi-final playoffs continued on Tuesday, July 2nd with 2 games. Scores from Game 1 are as follows. Youth and Sports Eagles of Nevis defeated Atiba Harris Runners 59-52. In Game 2, SCJ Hawks beat the Gut Bucks 83-67. The best of 3 finals will commence on Saturday, July 6 at 7 p.m. and Youth and Sports Eagles will go up against ASCJ Hawks. Both teams will also be promoted to the Premier Division for the 2020 season. Matches continue in the Premier Division this evening at 6:30, which will see the Rams Hitters going up against Inner City Conquerors. At 8, the St. Paul's Tough Nuts will face the Sandy Point Pride. That's it for the sports segment. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back. Another local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight, cloudy with showers and a 30% or low chance of thunderstorms. Winds easterly at 26 to 41 kilometers per hour or 14 to 22 knots and gusting higher. Seas 1.2 to 1.5 meters or 4 to 5 feet. And sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:42 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Thursday, 4th July 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, 7 bills on order paper for a sitting of the National Assembly, and over 3,000 households in St. Kitts and Nevis benefit from PAP program last month. Regionally, Venezuela's rulers accused by UN of death squads and policy of fear. Internationally, Iran summons UK ambassador in tanker siege row. And in sports, West Indies beat Afghanistan by 23 runs in their final 2019 Cricket World Cup match. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tammy Reed wishing you a pleasant evening.